And how come everyone tries to pursue happiness through external means? The question you should ask yourself: when and what you will sacrifice. Happiness is this mysterious place where everything feels great. It's almost like being in heaven, without problems, any concerns, and always with a smile on your face. Actually, happiness is a very serious topic, and it involves a deeper thinking in order to understand why we are chasing that. I will go through a video talking about why happiness is illusory and what we should do instead, how we should proceed in perceiving life, and what kind of an attitude we should have.
Eudaimonia is an ancient Greek word particularly emphasized by the philosophers Plato and Aristotle that deserves far wider currency than it has because it corrects the shortfalls in one of the most central, governing but insufficient words in our contemporary language: happiness.
Happiness is marketed to everyone as being a pinnacle of human experience, and people are very anxious in getting there. They do everything, starting with their life choices, education, partnerships, careers, in order to stack up the chances, making it unavoidable to reach happiness. But all in all, it's a sort of an escapism where you try to avoid pain at all costs. And happiness in this case is regarded to be a shelter from all the suffering we potentially might experience. A child knows nothing about happiness, yet it is perceived to be totally submerged in it.
When we nowadays try to articulate the purpose of our lives, it's to the word happiness that we commonly have recourse. We tell ourselves and others that the ultimate rationale for our jobs, our relationships, and the conduct of our day-to-day lives is the pursuit of happiness.
The whole structure and development of a personality revolves around reaching that place of endless feel-good sensation where the party never stops and where the wine keeps pouring. Every step we take, everything that we do should potentially get us closer to that demandable goal.
You think you could have got this far this fast with anybody else, huh?
So much that we set out to have it as our life's purpose. But unfortunately, we know nothing else but materialism. And that's where the downward spiral begins. As economies grow and competition becomes fierce, we are bombarded by marketing ads in slightest attempt to make us indulge in consumerism and further expand overall wealth of humanity. The question you should ask yourself: is there any end to that? And how come everyone tries to pursue happiness through external means? Life is about inner engineering. If you don't have slightest understanding of what happens behind this box of yours, then no amount of material purchases will get you closer to the happiness that you so eagerly strive towards. Because happiness is what happens here, inside of it.
It sounds like an innocent enough idea, but excessive reliance on the term means that we are frequently unfairly tempted to exit, or at least heavily question, a great many testing but worthwhile situations. The ancient Greeks resolutely did not believe that the purpose of life was to be happy. They proposed that it was to achieve eudaimonia, a word which has been best translated as fulfilment.
In the pursuit of happiness, which for the modern human is tightly interwoven with hedonism, we don't even care to realize that life is non-dualistic. All good is always accompanied with bad. All whatever is always accompanied with the opposite. Light, dark, tall, short, bad, good. Eudaimonia, fulfillment, joy of living doesn't have to comprise good feelings, good sensations. In fact, that precise state of mind that we all seek doesn't have anything to do with emotions. It excludes them because eudaimonia is still. There's no turbulence happening in that frame of mind.
What distinguishes happiness from fulfillment is pain. It is eminently possible to be fulfilled and, at the same time, under pressure, suffering physically or mentally, overburdened, and quite frequently in a tetchy mood. This is a psychological nuance that the word happiness makes it hard to capture, for it's tricky to speak of being happy yet unhappy, or happy yet suffering. However, such a combination is readily accommodated within the dignified and noble-sounding letters of eudaimonia.
Happiness is an emotion. and all emotions are temporary. The stillness that Eudaimonia implies comes from a deeper understanding of life and what it is about, what we are doing here. That joy of being comes from greatness. The fact that you're engaged in something that brings up a lot of value to the people, brings up a lot of love to the world. And the word love isn't a romantic thing. It's all about total acceptance, tolerance, and goodness. So if you do try to chase that feeling, you will quickly realize that it's nothing but a mirage, dissipating like a cloud in a sky.
Why do we force? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
As an example, think of the recreational drug ecstasy. People take it, have a lot of fun, and the day after they crash. If you borrow something, keep in mind that the interest rate will be very high.
The word encourages us to trust that many of life's most worthwhile projects will at points be quite at odds with contentment, and yet will be worth pursuing nevertheless. Properly exploring our professional talents, managing a household, keeping a relationship going, creating a new business venture, or engaging in politics, none of these goals are likely to leave us cheerful and grinning on a daily basis.
This is why the principle of doing something that you love doesn't hold in the long run. Pursuing things, activities, and endeavors that always trigger positive emotions isn't sustainable. Remember what I said about non-dualistic nature of life. All good things in life come with a price. Don't make mistake, you will suffer. The question you should ask yourself, when and what you will sacrifice. Let me give you a quick example. Weightlifting may not feel pleasant at all times, but in the long run, as you keep doing it, months, years, decades, it will grant you dose of fulfillment. Heck, even your future self will be very grateful for your deeds. Life is about giving and taking. If you are having time of your life today, you will suffer tomorrow. If you suffer today, you will have time of your life tomorrow.
They will, in fact, involve us in all manner of challenges that will deeply exhaust and enervate us, provoke and wound us. And yet we will perhaps, at the end of our lives, still feel that the tasks were worth undertaking. Through them, we'll have accessed something grander and more interesting than happiness. We'll have made a difference.
This implies long-term thinking, rejection of instant gratification, seeing the bigger picture, being very strategic with your life choices, not going for the things that might cause pain. Postponing them may eventually magnify the suffering in the long run. Facing your fears is what you ultimately should focus on. I'm not saying to be reckless. What I'm saying though is to not be content with okay and mediocre. Strive for something greater than yourself.
With the word eudaimonia in mind, we can stop imagining that we're aiming for a pain-free existence and then berating ourselves unfairly for being in a bad mood. We'll know that we're trying to do something far more important than smile all the time. We're striving to do justice to our full human potential and to work in some small but key way towards the improvement of our species.
Emotions will always be there. This is not about becoming a robot. Emotions help us to navigate through life, everyday living, and scan the surroundings for interpretation. And mastering emotions is all about understanding what they mean, not reacting, but becoming proactive, getting acquainted with yourself, and not taking life too seriously. Fulfillment comes from pushing your limits, nudging your potential, going there and pursuing dreams that can seem impossible or silly at first, but nevertheless doing those things is what increases your chances of getting close to that fulfillment. These feel-good sensations that all societies promote is nothing but a drug. It keeps you hooked and coming for more. What you're doing here by trying to reach your potential is that you are going for the same goal that we all are striving for, taking the mankind to the next level. I made a video about happiness being deceiving, one of my first videos on this channel. You can check it out here. It will add some new insights about this topic. How are you going about reaching happiness? Tell me in the commentary section. But for now, Hossein, out.